the gift God gives me is the ability to look at a dynamic and understand what people value more than understand the people, understand their problem, understand the process. Those of us that are from Nigeria, there's tap water, there's pure water, there's bottled water. You have tonic water. All of them are different prices. Do you know all of them are water?
It's
still water. If you come to the market and your mindset is, people need water now, I should be able to sell water. Anybody needs water. But you don't understand the people and the reason why they are buying water.
Wow.
I want to do a conference of 300 people in Sheraton. If you bring pure water to me,
that is
it
water.
will not work.
Not the water.
It's not the water I'm looking for. Yeah, well, you see, what I believe, if I'm there, cannot be impossible. Because with God, all things are possible and God is with me.
Mr. Aboyeji, thank you so much for the
Thank you,
opportunity to
Bafate.
have this conversation. So you have a very impressive portfolio: Book Nettle, Fora, Andela, Flutterwave, Move, Future Africa, Itana, and now Learn to Earn. And I think there's a few others that probably have not been mentioned here. What would you say is your superpower?
That's a very interesting question. There are many ways to answer that question. I mean, for me, I would say my superpower is I have the gift of faith. So I see things that other people say are impossible. And God tells me clearly that with me, nothing is impossible. And He shows me how to make the impossible possible.
I've heard someone say that you have a very thorough understanding of the market. That's for some reason you're just able to deeply analyze the market and know where the real issues are, and then you also know how to build businesses around that. You also, it seems you attribute that to your faith as well.
It's not just faith; it's light. Because when you see a market, at the end of the day, a market is an aggregation of people's needs. And you have to manage the tension between what people want and what people have.
Mm-hmm. You make it sound so simple.
And it can be difficult. Yeah, but it can be difficult to do that if you don't really understand them. And what the gift God gives me is the ability to look at a dynamic and understand what people value more than money, right? And then present that thing to them so they part with their money. Because that's ultimately the dynamic that makes business work. It's really about identifying the human need, then identifying the process for fulfilling that human need at scale. And then building a business model around it such that the cost of fulfilling that human need is greater, is smaller, than the value that person would derive from that human need. So that's what makes them.
It's an intersection of understanding the people, understanding the product, and understanding how to present it to the people.
Understand the people, understand their problem, understand the process. Right? Because there's so much about what a person pays for in many different contexts that's actually not about the thing. I'll give you a practical example I always give people. I use water. Those of us that are from Nigeria, there's tap water, there's pure water, there's bottled water. And you have seaway. Then you have tonic water. All of them are different prices.
Yeah.
Do you know all of them are water?
It's
still water. You can make the tonic water in your bedroom. The machine, when I first saw it in America, I was shocked. I said, this tonic water they sell for us you can just make it, it's just fizzy water. You just inject some carbonate into it and you're done, right? Pure water is bottled water inside nylon. You cannot serve pure water in a conference at Sheraton, but it's water. There's pure water. You can do that one in traffic. It costs less. You understand? If you serve bottled water in traffic, it will not take because the cost will be too high. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
There's tap water. The same tap water you can serve in restaurants for free. In Africa, people buy the tap water. You understand? And in buckets or with malam.
So it looks like the same product, water.
So you say people need water. Yeah, I need
what
water.
They need is water.
But
what they're buying,
they've not told you
what they think they're buying.
Yeah, so if you come to the market and your mindset is, people need water now, I should be able to sell water. Anybody needs water. But you don't understand the people and the reason why they are buying water.
Wow.
I want to do a conference of 300 people in Sheraton. If you bring pure water to me,
that is
it
water,
will not work.
Not the water.
It's not the water I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So it's light. It's understanding the people first. If I apply it to my business, when we did, let me use an example like Andela, right? What are people looking for? People are looking for talent, right? But they want the talent to be refined. They want them to know something. They don't want to do that education work themselves. But they are looking for talent. Now, there's a lot of talent in Nigeria. Most of them are unemployed, right? So if I'm able to get the talent to be what the employers want, you understand?
Yeah.
Is it not talent?
It is.
And all of a sudden, the talent goes from unwanted and unemployed to wanted and employed. Highly sought after. Highly sought after. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, talent.
So that's a good line of thought. Now, talking about talent, you're currently doing
Learn
to Earn,
yeah,
which is a company that trains this talent and deploys them into the global market.
Well, it's more particular. So with Learn to Earn, what I'm trying to build is the largest AI workforce. Because
it's specific to AI.
Specific
Whereas
to AI.
Andela was for
Andela was Andela was for web technologies, right? Ultimately, And the key insight that drives the business is an understanding of where the world is going. Fundamentally, AI is about productivity.
Yes.
And what you find with productivity is that when you have productivity, the problem that you have is that, the individual who is being made productive is a core asset. Now, that individual who's being made productive prior to AI required significant investment in education, in knowledge to become productive. You couldn't have taken a 5-year-old baby and made them as productive as a PhD student at UCL, right? The challenge that AI presents is that the AI itself is a PhD student at UCL.
That can take commands from a 5-year-old.
That can take commands from a 5-year-old.
In the language of a 5-year-old.
In the language of a 5-year-old.
Wow.
So it inverts the productivity paradox. Now, generally, everybody claims, there's technology, AI is going to leave Africa behind. They don't recognize that AI is built for Africa. Because now, that investment in knowledge, the burden is taken off. The work to be done is now understanding how to dimension problems.
Yes, because almost anyone can, with a little effort, gain expert knowledge in any sphere.
They can leverage expert knowledge in any sphere. They don't need to gain it to leverage it.
Yeah, they use it
and
dump it.
And dump it. So when you look at the evolution of human knowledge, right, from books to libraries to Google to AI. You think about how much more productive we've become.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Google is a proxy for the internet. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the reality of when you look at that also is that talent rarely survives platform shifts because talent is often anchored to the era where they started. So the people that grew up on libraries, they never really mastered internet. And so the people that will grow up on AI will not really understand how you use the internet and do all this research. Now, Africa has a unique advantage because it has the largest number of young people under the age of 18, meaning you've got a lot of headroom of people who can build the capability to use AI to build from day one. But you have to diffuse the human capacity at scale very rapidly. So I like to say, for me, learn to earn is an existential business. At my level and at my age, I can only build existential businesses because I have a very alternative. I have a very high, you understand, opportunity cost. And what learn to earn is designed to do, the West has capital, right? And some knowledge, even though right now knowledge is being commoditized, right? You can argue the East has energy, right? And compute, because they are the ones that make our chips.
And manpower.
Well, less manpower.
Workforce, if you look at China.
Well, if you think about manpower in terms of time, that's hours, you actually find that Asia is reducing because they are aging.
Okay. So you're talking about the trend.
I'm talking about the trend.
Yeah.
Africa is increasing.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? So if you are able to, so what Asia has right now is that no matter what you're doing, you're going to make your chips in Taiwan or in China. That's just reality. There's really nowhere else. By the time China takes over Taiwan,
same country.
Same country. There's nowhere else you're producing compute. TSMC is the only thing saving that country. So you have to think about these things very strategically. The only thing Africa is going to have is talent. So that's why I'm building Learn to Earn. It's not just a business I'm building just to do.
What will success look like for Learn to Earn in the next, let's say, 5 years, 10 years? In my mind is you will have an army.
It's an army of
got it right. AI competent individuals.
Yes.
Who will probably be in the mid-20s.
Yes.
If you're dealing with 18 plus, maybe early 30s or mid-30s, they'll still be very, very active in the workforce. And these people will be trained. Now, are they trained just to use AI to be productive, or they are trained to use AI at the development level? Because there are people who
at the software level.
At the software level.
That's where we start.
So create LLMs and things like that.
Yeah. So the way you think about the training that we offer, first of all, my dream, when you look at most of the people that are leading AI, most of them started their careers 10 years ago. Yeah, I mean, Sam 2012 was looked. I don't even think he was an engineer. What's the name of the leader of what's the name of that one? Anthropic, Claude. I think in 2014 he was still at the Chinese search and Baidu. So these guys are just 8 to 10 years, all of them, in this space. I mean, if you really want to talk about OGs, maybe 2010 was when DeepMind research was released and got acquired by Google, I believe. 2008, 2010. So it's not that long. It's very young. It's a very young space. So imagine what we can do with yielded people. You understand?
I want to find out, how do you...
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. So is it getting easier to do businesses in Africa, or is it getting more difficult? You've done this from 2014. And when I look at reports from some organizations that have done some research, Nigerians do not have a lot of liquid cash,
Mm-hmm.
and then so they're able to afford less in terms of purchasing power. So there's something that is called this sachetization of the economy. Everything is now in sachets. I went back to Nigeria recently and I saw that cornflakes is now in small sachets. Right before it used to be in this carton, essentially. Golden Morn is now in small sachets. Toothpaste, everything is so little because the people earn so little. So it's very difficult to do a business because there's really no earning power unless, of course, your business is raising talent, giving them any power, and then providing a way for them to earn money, which is what you did with Angela and what you're doing with
Learn to earn.
So that line of thought, is it correct? And the second half of the question is, how do you guarantee? Because learn to earn guarantees a work placement at the end of the process. And then they're able to pay the opportunity forward. So what's happening is that they're not paying to learn, but when they begin to earn, then they can pay in a very that's you're investing in their future, essentially.
Yes.
So how are you even able to guarantee
the jobs?
The jobs, yeah, because even for people who are currently in the market, not that easy. But I know that if you're making that promise, then you have a way to keep it. Because you did that with Andela already. Yeah. But what's the secret in all of this?
For me, the secret is really simple. These AI engineers will be sought after. I'm teaching them Python from scratch. They're going to learn RAG. They're going to learn how to fine-tune models. Every organization will need them. So I'm not even worried. Anybody that goes through the training, the question of whether they'll get work or not is out of the question. Really? They will get work. Yeah, because
you make them marketable.
Look, where the world is going, every organization will need one. So I'm not even creating enough that there's a cry. According to some stats, even though I don't believe, they say the gap is about 2 million AI engineers. You see what Mark Zuckerberg is paying for AI researchers.
It's very high.
7-8 years old.
Insane amount of money.
$100 million. So you can, I know this market well enough to say I've seen this before. Even when we're transitioning from native applications to web-based, mobile, progressive web apps, where we started moving to Firebase and all these other things, right?
Yeah.
We saw the same transition, and Eastern Europe took up the mantle. We saw the progression to databases much earlier, and internet, and how that fed the internet. You understand it? How India now took advantage of that. So you see where I'm coming from? Like, this is a pattern, it's an established pattern that there will be need for this talent. So I'm not worried about it.
Wow.
I'm actually not worried about it. It's logical.
Question, the first question, is it getting more difficult or is it getting easier?
So to that question, so here's the reality. It is more difficult because it is easier.
You have to explain.
I will explain what I mean. It's more difficult to build a startup because back in the day, right, most people couldn't raise money. It wasn't a popular concept. And what that generally meant was that the few people that had the courage to take it on, there were not many distractions. Do you understand what I'm saying? Capital was scarce, so there were not many distractions. You couldn't just take money and do nothing with it.
You had to do something.
You had to do something. You know, the opportunity was there, but there was no competition. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, when you talk about e-commerce in the country around 2013, 2014, it was just Jumia and Konga. Now, everybody and their mother has an e-commerce store. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's more difficult now because you have a lot of competition, and standing out now takes real effort.
Mm-hmm. You have a lot of competition because it's easier to do.
Yes.
But then because it's easier to do, it's more difficult to do it exceptionally.
That's it. To make the kind of returns. I mean, there are 1 billion Andela clones now. So if you're going to do something like Andela, do you understand what I'm saying?
You need a unique cutting edge.
You really need to really focus on a unique point of view. You understand? Payments, I mean, everybody's in payments. Back then, The situation where the only other competition I had was InterSwitch. InterSwitch didn't particular care for
They've been there for a long time.
small business customers.
Yeah.
I mean, they used to charge the equivalent now of over $500.
Really?
Yes, back then, for you to integrate one just Verve and I think MasterCard to their website, you still have to pay for the others. And you will pay $3,000 per developer that would work on it. You understand? Because you would have to go and pay that time, the equivalent, right? Now, you can do it for free. And anybody can do it. Now there are plugins, anybody can do it. So it is difficult now because it's easier.
That's quite interesting. And so what's likely to happen is that you have many more people bringing up things, launching products and launching companies, most of which will fail.
Yeah, I mean, they may not fail. They may not fail.
But
the one thing I also like to say is that that's the point. Yeah. So one thing everybody has to realize about startups is that the default end of a startup is failure. Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. That's the business is a miracle. Do you understand? The default end is actually failure. Now, the problem you're going to ultimately have in a crowded space is those blowouts, those exceptional businesses are going to be fewer and farther between. But if you want to run a basic payment company in Nigeria, it's not very difficult.
Do it.
It's not very difficult. You can do that very easily.
So I alluded to the fact that Nigerians in general have very little spending power. If they have little spending power, it means they have little investment power as well. You have to be able to put 3 meals on the table every day before you think of funding the next big thing.
Yeah.
Right. So that means founders like you or founders like us will have to rely on external funding. Right. Funding from VCs and angels that may not be local to an extent. And those fundings sometimes can be affected by circumstances beyond our control. Right. International politics can do a lot to affect that. So how do you navigate that? I'm still drilling down to this question of, is it getting easier or is it getting more difficult? And maybe I should even jump ahead because the next question I'm going to ask is, Nigerians in diaspora are a very great resource. I think the amount of remittance that comes from Nigerians in diaspora is huge. I think it's in billions of naira, right? And that's probably an asset class that you can tap into for funding opportunities for businesses in Nigeria. So that's what I'm asking about the fact that Nigerians do not have a lot of liquid capital, liquid money, even for basic needs. So capital will have to be tapped from outside the country, unless there's a way to tap this capital from.
Yeah, I disagree a little bit with the premise on 3 levels, if I can. Yeah,
definitely.
So I think the first thing, we have swallowed this lie that every business needs funding to start. I'm sure if you ask somebody, what is the starter pack for a business?
Say funding.
The person will say funding. Seed funding, then a founder. In fact, seed funding without a founder. And the reality of the way the world really works is that funding is not a requirement for business.
Really?
Nope.
You mean if you bootstrap the business?
It's not about bootstrapping. It's fundamentally about getting a customer and satisfying a customer. You don't need funding to start a business. In fact, I can proudly tell you, I have not started any business with funding myself. I haven't. There will be a time when you might need to, but
once you've established that the model works and you want to scale.
Do you understand? But you don't need funding to start a business. The 3 things you need to start a business. Number 1, you need a name. Can't start a business without a name. You need a founder and you need a customer.
Wow.
Those are the 3 things you need. The money is supposed to come from the customer. That's it. That's how it actually is supposed to be, as originally intended. The lie is now that, you need funding before you even get a customer. And that's what confuses people. So that's the first issue I have with that question. The second issue I have with that question is, my brother, there is far more wealth in Nigeria than you can imagine. I'm telling you, seriously.
Okay, it's just not distributed.
It's not that it's not distributed. It's that people don't have a fair way to get that money into the right hands. Because today, you see, Nigeria is one of the few countries in the world where when I put my money in the bank, when you put your 100,000 naira in the bank, government, through the CBN, keeps almost 50 to 60% of it through a mechanism called CRR. And that money in the past, maybe not now, is used to fund the government.
So Nigeria is the only country that keeps that amount?
Yes. Usually CRR is about 4 to 15%, just for the solvency of the banks. But in Nigeria, the financial system has turned it to a way to fund government. So government has a vested interest in ensuring there's no other way for capital to be aggregated from the common man into investments. Because they don't pay anything for that money. Now, the balance of that, the remaining 40%, the banks have to make do with that to be able to fund their own costs. And then they have to lend that money at exorbitant rates as well. So the government is not really incentivized. Do you understand what I'm saying? Then there's something we call crowding out in economics, where government, because it's consistently in need of money, then offers a high interest rate on bonds, FGM bonds. And it's safe because all the government does is it borrows the money and it prints more to pay you back. The impact of that on you is inflation.
Which you may not
which you don't feel.
See and measure immediately.
But it has a cost impact.
Yeah.
Which means that you're getting poorer and poorer and poorer slowly.
Imperceptibly. And your children will be poorer.
So it's a very deliberate strategy. It's very complicated. It's not as straightforward as you guys think. Like, we can't get this because of outside. No, there's money. But unless you have structural fiscal reform, do you understand? That basically takes, creates an avenue of competition, takes government out of private sector, you understand, forces them to just focus on regulation, cut their costs, so they don't need to borrow as much. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why. So the reason, the honest truth is, even the foreign funding is subject to these macroeconomic forces.
Really?
Yeah.
So if investment comes from outside the country, for example.
Yeah.
Okay, if it is stored in a Nigerian bank, then it will be subject.
It's not even just that. If the purpose of this foreign investment, right, is to meet, is not, if the foreign investment is not designed around some general form of export, you understand, which is now real money because that's coming from outside the country. Do you get what I'm saying? What's produced in Nigeria, you're going to have those issues. You see what I mean? If you look at every business, the Dangote exports more than 70% of its goods. Right? Yeah. 70, forget all this fighting government.
High.
Yeah, but he has to. As a free trade zone, he has to export.
Because below that, he may not be able to.
Before that, he won't be able to retain. Why is he in a free trade zone if he's not exporting? He exports. That's how he makes his money. Neighboring countries, outside the country. So again, my broader point is, not without sounding too academic, there are a lot of fundamental flaws in the way we think about the economy in Nigeria. But you are right about one thing. It is a production economy, not a consumption economy. You're not going to make a lot of money selling things to Nigerians, except you're selling them at incredible scale.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? You're not going to make it. But you will make more money working with Nigerian talent to make things to sell elsewhere.
Yeah.
Because the margins will be very good.
Yeah. That's what you're doing. So what are 3 problems that bother you the most in Nigeria? Let me rephrase it differently. Just imagine you have a group of people with all the talent, all the drive, right? But they don't know the Nigerian problem. Let's call them Nigerian problems. What 3 problems will you pitch to them? Like, these are the biggest problems, most useful problems to solve.
Yeah. Well, I think the first one is talent. Because
talent development.
You have to build
and deployment.
Yeah. Maybe identification, development and deployment. Because if you don't have the people to build, you can't build by yourself.
Yeah.
So whatever you have in terms of knowledge, you have to be able to transfer to others, so they can also help you build, and you can build together. As talented as Nehemiah was, he still needed other people to build. So that's the first thing. Second thing is energy. See, energy is the unit of productivity. It's the constant of productivity. Without energy, there's no productivity. No matter how talented you are. You can know, do you understand what I'm saying? You can know everything, yeah? But if you don't have power, you have to generate it.
Sometimes it's unfortunate, I'm sorry to interrupt, but then when I work with some people in Nigeria, it's so difficult sometimes even to get them to be able to have a meeting for 1 hour because of the lack of electricity or the lack of internet supply. Yeah. So that basic structural,
so energy
makes it so difficult.
But they go together, because what happens usually with connectivity in Nigeria, I'm sure you've noticed maybe the connectivity has degraded a lot.
Yes.
So what has happened over time, and this is public information, the tower companies, which were dependent on diesel, have experienced a lot of theft. And when tariffs went up as a result of the cost of diesel going up, they started to look for ways to bring down the operational costs. They identified some thefts. Nigeria is such a funny country that they were held to ransom on the back of their desire to make their operations more efficient by the tanker drivers. So a good chunk of sites are down. Energy. Because connectivity assets, people talk about fiber cuts, but largely speaking, they are largely untouched. You get what I'm saying? You lay it once, it's there. You see where I'm coming from? Yeah. But energy, you need energy to keep it going.
Yeah. If it's not there, nothing else can happen. Yeah. So back to the previous question. So it's talent development.
Talent, energy. I would say the last thing that you need to solve for is infrastructure.
What does infrastructure mean?
So there's a wide berth, but the most important thing, if you're going to evacuate, there are 2 kinds of things in my mind, right? The world is divided into 2, digital and physical. Just like you have human and spiritual. There's a physical world, there's a digital world. The way you evacuate goods in the digital world is through connectivity. The way you evacuate goods in the physical world is through ports and airports and roads.
That's what it's called, infrastructure.
That's why it's called infrastructure. Okay. So we have to pick. What do we want to do? It's going to cost less to do the digital. Okay, let's do it. You understand? Or we must have a plan for the physical eventually.
This
Without
includes,
roads,
this includes logistics and delivery and things like that.
but the fundamental is roads.
Yeah.
And
Everything
ports.
has to happen through roads.
Has to happen. If you like, make all the best oranges in Benue.
Yes, if you have
It
to
will
take
stay in Benue rotting.
and then the port
Unless there's no road, unless there's a road that will carry the goods from
to where it's
Benue
needed.
to where
And then the ports will help to both export and bring in,
raw materials.
in bulk. Yeah. And I think we still have a big problem in that area.
There's no country is an island. Even if you want to make orange concentrate, not all the goods required for that are in Nigeria. There are chemical substances and mixes that you need from other parts of the world. With the kind of ports we have, can you bring them in enough quantity to create to lead global supply? No. So unless you bring machineries that you need to produce, you still need to bring it in. They're not going to appear, they're not going to drop from the sky. So you must solve infrastructure.
Yeah.
So unless you solve those three problems, just wasting your time. Just wasting.
We have to wrap up now because of time. I'm really tempted to. So, politics. Do you think you'll one day get involved? Because it's not easy. It's not even possible to do the kind of thing you do at scale unless you are able to affect policy in some way. So, are you going to keep doing it from outside, or eventually you'll get into?
I'm not outside. I have to be honest.
Outside the political arena.
I'm not. So one thing
officially.
Let me refrain. The biggest mistake I think young Nigerians particularly make is that the only role in a political party is president,
of course,
or governor, or House of Reps.
So there are billionaire influencers influencing policy directions, right?
If you are a citizen of the country, you have a right to influence policy directions.
But not everyone, of course.
No, you see, you are a citizen. In the UK, even billionaires are members of a political party.
Yeah.
They must be Labour, or they must be Conservative, or they are part of it. They may not run for
office
election, but they are members of a political party. I am a member of a political party. I used to not be a member of a political party, but I thought about it and I said, no, I have to join a political party. I am a member of it. I don't need to disclose which political party, but I am a member of a political party. You understand? Yeah. I engage government at all levels. Local government to states, my states, federal. That's because I'm a citizen. So the idea that until I become president, or until I become governor, or until I become somebody going on the rolls, I'm not in politics is wrong. Everybody is in politics, with or without your permission. The question now is, how are you going? You, in your capacity, I can introduce you to your governor tomorrow. Yes, I've spent a lot of time with him, and we've talked many times about the need for Benue to be able to generate its own electricity. You can go to your state and say, okay, sir, I can't work for you full time. I have something I'm doing in the UK. But you know what I'll do? I would advise on how to set up the Benue electricity markets. You can do that. I do that. I went to my state. My state came to me with an interesting idea. They wanted to set up an education trust fund because we realized that, look, the cost of educating Kwarans, and we're only 4 million, we're not many. The cost of educating Kwarans, even, how many students? We have less than 2 million people in our system. You understand? So the cost of educating Kwarans was still greater than what we were receiving in income.
Oh.
Do you understand what I'm saying? And when I say educating, I mean infrastructure, investment, kids, teacher training, proper education. We looked at the cost and we said, it's more than. So how can we bridge the gap? And we started to work on that. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So my larger point is, for me, will I go to elective office? I don't know. But I can guarantee you that I will always be involved in politics. I write policy papers. I write letters. I am in 4 or 5 national councils at the state, local. I participate in my local politics.
All right. So I think I started by asking what your superpower is, and I think I just discovered it. And it's that you refuse to see the impossibilities that most other people see.
That's
And you
why.
have a high, almost a psychopathic level of enthusiasm and belief in the Nigerian economy, in the African future, I should put it that way.
Yeah, well, you see, what I believe, if I'm there, it cannot be impossible. Because with God, all things are possible. And God is with me.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time. It's been a wonderful conversation. I know the audience will find it very useful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Fatih.